It's Christmas Day. I'm Pamela Cucinell. This is Stoke the Fire. And Susie, how are you doing up there in the country? Want to say hello?
Hi everyone. Well, I'm just going to tell everybody that it's actually not Christmas Day because we are technically pre-recording this episode of Stoke the Fire because I am actually not here today on Christmas Day. I'm actually in the south of France doing the initiations and preparation for the Mary Magdalene tour. So we'll pretend that it's Christmas Day. So hi everyone. It's
Yeah, but
Christmas Day.
what I love about this is Susie's just done some forecasting, which is usually my realm. She's forecasted that she will be in France on Christmas Day. C'est bon. So this is what we do. I'm the astrologer, and so I give the week's forecast, and we will start it as of Christmas Day. And yes, I'm with my family and busy on Christmas Day, and many of you may not even watch this on Christmas Day, but what we do is I do a forecast astrologically of what you can expect for the week ahead. And then Susie jumps in, and Susie, tell them what you do.
I jump in after the about 20 minutes of astrology and more or less picking up on what are the themes of the week, what are the spiritual challenges that might be coming up. I then jump in like a little kangaroo, and I jump in and we do the 10-minute turbo boost activation, which is energetic channeled activation, meditation, to help us really understand and incorporate the energies of the week that we'll be working with. And these activations, you can you'll after hearing them, a few of them, you'll recognize that you can really use them at any time. So these are ones that we try and keep quite general as well, so that if you want to keep a recording or go back to it and use it as a meditation every day or at different times in your life, please, you're more than welcome to.
Wonderful. So what happens is, for people who are our subscribers, which you can do by going to stokethefire.guru, our subscribers get the encapsulated version of me speaking the 20 minutes of astrology and then Susie bringing in that energetic activation meditation towards the end. So it's really about half hour of boom, you're ready for the week. And our subscribers get it the night before, Sunday evening, whereas this version that we do on YouTube is to get more people interested and aware of what's happening, and also to encourage people who are interested in just hearing the audio and getting on with their week. But if you like to watch us and hear us talk, you are more than welcome to do that. And we'll tell you also later more about where you can find each of us to work with us separately, because I do work with people as an astrology consultant, and Susie is a very gifted healer in many capacities and has teaching schools that she can talk to you more about. But before I jump into the 20 minutes of astrology, Susie, do you want to talk to folks a little about what you've got coming up ahead and why you're in France? I can't hear you. Try again. Why you're in France?
So I am going to France for the Christmas week to do research and to set up a retreat and to receive some initiations as well in the Mary Magdalene line. For people that might not be aware, Mary Magdalene was the wife, officially actually, of Jesus Christ, and escaped to France after the crucifixion with her 3 children, 2 of which were the children of Jesus Christ. And she lived there in this region, and I will be going there to visit the sacred places and to really delve into some of the history, looking at the Cathar history as well as the Knights Templar. And I will be leading a retreat next year in April to the region, which at the moment is actually nearly full, but if you'd like to contact me, I'll see if we can squeeze you in. And it will be a week retreat, a spiritual retreat, where we'll be connecting to the land, to the people, to the history, and of course to the teachings of the divine feminine. And this is some of the work that I do. I lead groups to India and to Nepal, to Peru and Bolivia, where I've been going for the last 20 years working with the shamans. And also I have retreats in Costa Rica and in upstate New York, where we do meditation retreats and healing retreats. I work privately as a healer, seeing people in New York, and also seeing people anywhere in the world online, doing online consultations, and also doing classical homeopathy. And I also have a school, which is the Art of Energetic Healing School, where I share all the things that I've learned throughout my life in all of these interesting places, from India to South America to Africa, from medical schools to homeopathy schools to energy schools to Reiki and everything, and psychology. And I share that with my students who do a year-long course, taking one class per month. And these courses are also open now next year in Los Angeles, where we'll be doing it more as an intensive over a number of weekends. And if you'd like to study with me, energyhealingschoolla.com, energyhealingschoolny.com. And I'd like to talk to you if you're interested. So that's what I do. And Pam, who I've been working with for many, many years, is a brilliant astrologer. And I just got my new weekly desk planner for next year. So whenever Pam is giving us the astrology, I am very quickly taking lots of notes, so I know what's happening that day, how to deal with the energies of that day. Is that a day that I should be clearing off my desk or designing new programs to go to another country? So I advise everyone, if you're listening to us and if you're new, definitely take a few notes. And get ready for the week ahead. And here we are, very close, of course, to 2018. So I know that we're going to have a fantastic program for you, which is going to be, again, another Monday, as I'm looking, which will be the beginning of the new year. And normally we do a bigger program for Stoke the Fire, which I don't know, Pam, we haven't talked about this, but I guess we will do a bit of a longer program, which we talk more about the year and more about what's coming up. And I know 2018 is going to be wild. Is that right?
Well, yes, 2018 is going to be, I don't know that I'd use the word wild. I think we're coming through a very wild year, a year of a lot of tenuousness, anxiety, frazzled energy, waiting for the other shoe to drop. 2018 basically is when the big shifts decide where they're going to be, where the platelets are going to be reforming. And so we're starting to see these seismic real shifts, both on the earth, but in society. So yes, we will talk about that more. January 1st, maybe we'll do a longer program. I'm also going to be doing my annual teleseminar about the year coming up, 2018. So I'll be talking about that as well. But we will get a little primer on January 1st about what's coming up ahead. And we can talk about if we're going to do even a longer version as well. So let's talk about Christmas into New Year's Day, which is pretty much where we are this last week in December. So just checking the time before I begin. Okay, cool. So December 25th, 2017, Christmas Day. So Christmas Day comes a few days after the solstice, the winter solstice. And the date actually was chosen specifically to come after all the very short days start to spread in the light. Basically, after the winter solstice, we have about 3 days that are kind of almost frozen, where it seems like it is the longest night. It is the longest night. And even though it's incrementally getting a little shorter, we don't really get that push of the sense of light is coming back in until December 25th. So it was chosen as the birth of Jesus for a very specific reason, because the child of light, the divine child, which actually is a mythology that comes up in many, many cultures about the divine child found and the light being spread. And the symbolism, among other things, means that every time a child is born, more light comes into the world. But how the child is received has everything to do if that light is really able to shine. And as an astrologer, where we look for your light and is it going to shine is where your sun sign is positioned. And many people know what their sun sign is because, oh, I'm a Pisces or I'm a Capricorn. Well, that means that when you were born, that was where the sun was at the time of your birth. So the sun is the expression of self, how we want to shine in this lifetime. And we are talking about Christmas Day, the divine child energy. Now, Christmas Day 2017 has a real interesting quality about it that I talked about last week, because the moon is void of course until 7:27 p.m. Eastern time. And all the times I'm going to give in this discussion are Eastern time. So adjust according to where you are on the planet. So what happens is that when the moon is void of course, the moon has left, it's kind of going on its trajectory until it changes signs. And as it moves, it's not making any geometric aspects to another planet before it enters the next sign. So we have basically a whole, since Christmas Eve through 7:27 p.m. Christmas night, the moon is void of course in the sign of Pisces. Now, Pisces is also the sign that we link to the Christ child, the Jesus energy, because Pisces is the sign that really speaks about how we're all connected in this great universal unconscious. People who have very strong Pisces signature are people who can be very naturally psychic, very sensitive, feel deeply. They can be a little not of this world. They also have an ability to kind of sense the vibration of the wider sphere, which is why so often we see Pisces being in some way very prominent, or not necessarily in all cases, but very prominent or emphasized in the horoscopes of people who work with film, because they are illusion makers. They are people who can connect in a way that isn't necessarily intellectual and verbal. So on Christmas Day, the ability for people to be sensitive and picking up vibratory energy is very, very high and acute. The thing is that because the moon isn't making any connection to any other planet as it's moving through Pisces, it's likely that you might get into some sort of deep or feeling place, but it's not really connecting the dots. You don't quite know what someone's trying to say. You can't quite turn the channel in clearly. Something is a bit inchoate or not totally complete or clear. So it's a wonderful day for mystical meditation, for singing, for exploring creativity, for talking about potential new visions and whatever may be possible. It's a wonderful day for doing service for people who work in soup kitchens or do some service or giving before they go to their own home and connection. But then the other piece of this is there's a picture in the sky between Venus and Saturn, and Venus also has moved into Capricorn in the wee hours, just after midnight on Christmas Day. So I think one of the things this means is it's really stepping up the responsibility of, are you aligned with your values? And are your values those that have integrity? Saturn is now in the sign of Capricorn. There is no room or space for people who are not basically owning what they're putting out there. So it may still be a little fuzzy math, especially on Christmas Day, where someone might say something but not be able to deliver exactly what it is they promised. And this is the kind of reckoning that we're going to keep seeing increase as we get into 2018. So when Susie said wild, one of the things that's going to be wild is we're going to see a lot of things falling because they didn't have solid foundations under their feet. Saturn and Capricorn into 2018, we're going to see basically the rug pulled out from under anyone who isn't really validating or able to follow through with what their promise or commitment is. So on Christmas Day, there might be the sense of, what is it do I really value, care about, and am willing to make a commitment to? So it's a wonderful day for prayer, being with people who really you value, and doing things that really mirror what you care about. And if you feel like you're falling a little short of who you really would like to be and how you spend most of your time, this is a wonderful day for self-reflection. So when the moon goes into the sign of Aries at 7:27 p.m., suddenly there's a lot of electricity in the air that speaks about, what can I do? So if you were kind of ruminating all day or reflecting or thinking about how can we pull the loose ends together, suddenly things start to come into connection. People show up, decisions get made, hands get raised. People say, I'll do that. There's a stepping up or a declaration of what matters. And we may see kind of a sleepy period, like things being held off. And then when we get to the evening Christmas Day, suddenly there's like declarations, things being said. So one of the things this feels like to me is that the tradition of Christmas Day is let's just have a 24 hours of peace. So if there's any war or some sort of squabbling or military action happening somewhere in the world that values what Christians care about, there'll be a sort of not today energy. That may happen, but then in the evening when moon enters Aries, we get more of a kind of, okay, that was long enough, let's get to it. So this can even happen at a family dinner or a gathering. So if you're with people that sometimes some people like to fight or make things uncomfortable during holidays are often very fraught. for people depending on their situations or familial structure. So you can give yourself a kind of, okay, I have to leave by the early evening, and you're sort of out the door or on the road by that point in time. Or just know that that's when the party will get livelier and people may sort of take their gloves off again, and different things happen. But that doesn't mean it can't be a dynamic evening and an action evening. So Tuesday, December 27th, 26th, I'm sorry, I'm racing the week. December 26th, which some people practice Kwanzaa. It's a great day for that kind of declarations, possibilities, manifestations. For those of you who do participate in a Kwanzaa ceremony, or if you never have and have been invited to one, go. It should be a lot of fun actually on that day, because there's a dynamic energy. If it's not Kwanzaa and you're just meeting with people or doing different things, it's a very active day, terrific day to do some sort of athletic physical activity, because things want to get put in motion. Mercury went direct last week, so we're now able to start skating forward in new directions. And after that kind of long reflection period at the beginning of the week, we can actually move into things that are more action-oriented. The 28th, the moon goes void of course. I'm sorry. The 27th, I keep racing this week. Okay, the 27th is Wednesday, and the moon goes void of course at 3:57 p.m. So if you need anything work-related or has to get done before, do it before that point in time, because then the moon is void of course for the rest of the day into the evening. And when it's void of course in the sign of Aries, terrific time to do something that expends energy, that's fun to do, that gets things moving, people moving. You want to be in motion, otherwise there's a level of frustration that can happen. The 28th is Thursday. I'm looking at the calendar again to make sure I say this right. The 28th is Thursday. The moon goes into Taurus at 1:23 a.m. And when it's in the sign of Taurus on Thursday, this is a very great day to concretize something, to kind of pull the idea down from the sky and put it into some form of manifestation. So usually Christmas week, depending on your profession, can be sort of a quiet week, but that doesn't mean you can't put things in place for once the movement starts. And Thursday's really a rock solid day to do that, to plan your strategy, see where things stand, have conversations that really concretize and cement who's on board here, who shares my values, and also make it a day when you're appreciating the gift of life. Do something that is incredibly life-affirming. Be in nature, go to a wonderful museum, have a slow, savoring meal with people you love or care about. Do something that makes you feel very in your body and very connected to the joy of being alive. The 29th, Friday, the moon is in Taurus, but it goes void of course at 9 a.m. So this is a day that is really asking for you to simply just relax and be. So Taurus wants to savor. Taurus wants to like lull into something that's delicious. Taurus wants to really celebrate being in the physical body. So if it's binge watching something on Netflix, do that. Personally, I think that that's okay to do as long as you are wrapped in textures you love, uh, reach out for physical contact, eat something that is very sustaining, but do things that celebrate the senses: taste, touch, sound, sight, smell. Do things that let you dimensionally appreciate the joy of being in the body. Because remember, this is a finite period of time. And many times in our 24/7 world, we basically it's like we electronically desensitize ourselves. We aren't really here. We're not really being in the moment of the physical space, where our heads are up here, we're reaching out there, we're grabbing a phone. We don't have the presence to sink into wherever we are. So if you feel any restlessness stirring up on Friday, give yourself a moment where you just kind of breathe in and allow yourself the presence of the moment. So the moon enters Gemini at 3:31 a.m. on Saturday, the 30th. And now we're in a period of very different energy than Friday. Now we're in the fast track, moving on, ideas popping. Don't want to miss that one. Got to grab that one. Let's get this idea or that connection happening. And it's very, very lively, but it's also a seduction, because the pull for this one or that one may derail you from the actual, this is the piece that's of value. I've got these alarms in the background, which actually I'm thinking, how am I integrating this? So I feel as though what I'm hearing here is, if you feel yourself so jazzed and moving from one thing to the other thing to the other thing, let that little quiet, not necessarily an alarm, but a reminder go off in your head. What am I missing here? What am I missing that I'm moving so quickly that I'm not seeing what might be the piece that's really very inspired and juicy and delicious? So just pay attention. And definitely, I mean, it's great if you do it every day of this coming week, especially, as I said, Christmas Day is so rich and delicious. But definitely on Saturday, the 30th, give yourself some meditation moments, especially in the evening or late evening. If you're feeling very fractured and kind of disjointed, that's going to bring you back into center and give you a sense of, here I am, I'm back to my inner plumb line, I'm feeling anchored. And that's when the true messages and inspiration come in. So when we're on Sunday, which is a day that just pops with different ideas, different thoughts, different inspiration, ideally you're more grounded so you can capture or focus on the things that really are meaningful to you. It's also New Year's Eve, and the moon goes void, of course, at 6:36 p.m. New Year's Eve night. So my message or thought here is that the moon is going to be void, of course, on New Year's Eve. So it's an evening where the champagne may feel flat, where things don't really connect or sizzle in the way you thought. So make that a night that allows you to be with the people you care most about, even if that's a conversation on Skype, because the person you care most about is far away. And let yourself just kind of listen to whatever's out there in the cosmos or your psyche that maybe is giving you a really strong hint about what 2018 means for you personally. And we'll talk more about that next week, but now I'm going to turn it over to Susie.
Wow, I don't even know where to start today. But I'll just start because that's when it normally just happens and the master teachers just come on in. But it's the last week of the year, and I think that's really the starting point. The last week of 2017. Unbelievable. Okay, off we go. Dear loved ones, we are the master teachers, and as we work together, we invite you now to close your eyes, to feel the energy of the moment, to sit in meditation. And as we work now to increase the frequencies, let us now increase the frequencies. And as we do that, what's happening is that you are lifting up, raising, increasing the literal vibration of your energy field. And just for a moment, have a look back at your life this year. Have a look at exactly 12 months ago where you were, what you were doing. And we can say quite confidently that many people have changed a great deal in this year. This has been a very big year of a lot of change. A lot of very drastic and dramatic change. And also, and we're talking here about people being displaced by war and weather and events of violence. And it has also been a year of tremendous spiritual growth. For many people on this planet have actually started to ask questions. They've actually started to be curious. They've actually started to wake up a little bit more, actually quite a lot more. So it's been a year of tremendous awakening and tremendous change. So have a look at your own life now and look at where were you December, end of the last week, anywhere, and where are you now, and what has changed in your life? What things have you been through in the last year, and what things have really had a big effect on you? And what has happened, and we will say this as a generalization, is that many people have really shifted their value systems, have really looked at what is it that I really want, what is it that I really need, what is it that I really want to do, how do I want to spend my time, how do I want to be, literally my physical body, how do I want to feel, how much can I be in command of all of those things? And there's almost, we can say, a very general shift from people being lost or out of control or controlled to people being in command of themselves. There's a lot more self-empowerment. There's a lot more energy coming from the self, and the self being able to make decisions. And when there is this confidence and this trust and this very deeply aligned energy, aligning life purpose and aligning the energy field so that people can actually be in activation mode, can be active, can be dynamic. This has a tremendous effect on the world, because what it does, the ripple effect, the butterfly effect, whichever effect you want to call it, mass consciousness, is that more and more people now are able to actually step into freedom. More and more people are able to download literally from the field, from the source field, all the information that others have been through. So when you yourself personally go through an aha moment, when you step away from fear and come into fearlessness, when you integrate all of the discrepancies, all of the things that you think are so different, when you integrate them, you start to see the world more in this oneness, that actually has a tremendous ripple effect on your species, on the people of Earth. And then, of course, that affects every other species, affecting everything around you. So the personal work that is done, let it not be underestimated. And we congratulate all of those beings that in this year have become more understanding, have become more compassionate, have become less confused, less lost. All of these things really do not only help you, and perhaps, you know, you can see it in your family, in the constellation of the people around you, but it does happen actually globally. And this, dear loved ones, really is a tipping point. And you'll be seeing next year, just as you have heard about the astrology, that there really is this major shift of the tectonic plates, both symbolically, spiritually, physically. And what is happening is the world really is finding a new ground. The world really is finding more truth, more realism in the truth. And you will find this within yourself. So I invite you this week, so as you are working, as you are playing, as you are meditating, as you are driving your car, to just reflect back on your year, and reflect back on it without judgment, not saying, oh, I've got nowhere, I've done nothing. Because every single day and every single moment you are doing something. It is the energy field of your body that is present, that is doing something. So look back at this year and think, what have I learned? What is it that I have learned so much of? What is it that I would like to keep learning? What is it that I feel, hey, I have got that lesson. Thank you so much. Have a look at where you are and start to really seriously develop a sense of self-love, a sense of, I love that I've been able to go through all of this, that I've done this. I love that I've gone down the hard road and had some really big lessons. Understand that this life is just a game, just a play. It is literally the play of atoms with consciousness. And the more and more you come into this more playful field with consciousness and with atoms that make a computer, or atoms that make a cat, or atoms that make the bed that you sleep on at night, or atoms that make the head that falls onto the pillow that goes to sleep at night. These are all just atomic structures that are coming from your consciousness, and you are now coming into a place where the consciousness is more and more aware, and you are coming into a place where you are more and more aware of what has been happening, what is happening, and what will happen, because your consciousness is in direct relationship with what you call the future. And all of this is becoming more and more obvious to you. It is becoming more and more clear. And as you continue to be here on this planet, to see, to participate, to experience what is happening, you are gaining experiences. It's like you're here and you're picking up all the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle. And some pieces are nasty and some pieces are nice, but you are here in action now, dear loved ones. You are exactly where you need to be right now, picking up exactly the pieces you need to pick up. So as you are picking up the pieces now, as you look back at what you have picked up, really look at those pieces, identify them, know them. Why is this a part of my puzzle? Ooh, What picture, what is this great big picture that I'm painting, that I am a part of, that I'm working with? And feel the energy of all these experiences, of all this integrating now, that you are here by choice, in command, and you are able now to literally increase your energy field, feeling the energy now, feeling the frequency lifting up higher, the heart opening, the mind becoming more and more aware. And feel the potential, the creative potential in your body opening up as you recognize that you really are able to alter every moment, every feeling, every perception in your body. Mind over matter, spirit in command, divine self at the wheel, at the rudder, at the sails. The divine self is here. And as you feel this shift, increasing your energy field, feel it reaching out in all directions to all of the people around you, seen and unseen, in your city, in every city, in every place around this planet, sending out rainbow, white light, blessings of love. We thank you, we are the Master Teachers, we are complete. So, I can't talk.
Beautiful. Yeah, I know. Okay, Susie's getting back. So that was what we do, stokethefire.guru. You can find out more about getting the subscription so that you get the audio the night before, which is 20 minutes of astrology, and then 10 minutes of the energetic activation that Susie just shared. And always what the master teachers give us basically springs off of the astrology forecast for the week. So it's always different every week, even though each meditation activation that Susie offers is something that you could listen to at any point in time. So it's inspired by what's happening at that moment, but it's just an essence or message that comes out that's evergreen, that you can use at any point. So you're always invited to listen to those pieces of it again and again and again. So you can find out about the subscription at stokethefire.guru. And right now we're offering 2 introductions. One is you can get half price and try 6 weeks. It's a very nominal price. Or you can pay for the entire year, which gives you more than a month free. On top of, you get a complimentary session with either Susie or myself, your choice. So that's stokethefire.guru. You can find out more about that. And I'll just briefly tell you about what I do as Susie's I think she's getting much fully back into the body, but she gave you a nice prep at the beginning about what she does. But you can find out more about me at insightoasis.com, where there's information on how to work with me either one time as an astrologer, so that you basically go through this whole kind of validation reboot experience, or I have different programs that are ongoing. So you can really dig into a certain depth to understand dimensionally timing, and it's especially useful if there are specific goals you're shooting for, or you're in a heightened period of transformation and really want to get a handle on how to maximize the challenges and strengths ahead for you for 3 months, 6 months to a year. So that you can find out about at insightoasis.com. Sign up for my newsletter and I'll let you know when the year's forecast for 2018 is going to happen, which I think is going to happen around January 7th. But Susie and I will do as we said, a longer view, probably next week, January 1st. So now, Susie, do you want to say what you do or just a goodbye before we close off?
I think I already said everything in the beginning. If you'd like to reach me. But if you'd like to reach me, susiemazzoli-healer.com. And I am I am so incredibly in this zone right now from that activation that I can barely talk. So I'm going to have to say goodbye. So have a great Christmas week, everybody, or holiday, or whatever it is that you do. And I would say, get your space helmets ready for next year, because we're going to need to put in our seat belts for next year. It's going to be so big, I think. Good,
Yeah.
in a big good way, in a very big good way. Yes.
It's big in a good way. The precursor before our talk is that if you are ready for transformation and to embrace change with both hands, and you're ready and willing to be an agent of the change instead of just letting life happen to you, then you're going to have a fabulous 2018. So we'll talk more about that January 1st.
And let me add to that, that if you don't think you're going to be an agent of change, then I invite you to do a private session with Pamela and myself, and we will definitely show you how to get to that place, because I know both of us are very good at helping people literally dissolve those barriers and dissolve the fear and just turbo boost us into the highest potential of our lives. After working for 20, 25 years with clients, that's what I get back as a testimonial quite often is, that was like 10 years of therapy in an hour session. I feel like I can go and change the world now. So let's all do that. Let's all get onto our glorious soapboxes and reach our fullest potential. Thank you so much, everyone. Love now.